Oh, so you got like a double header back to back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So that way I can not like double dip on topics.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Or I
That's a
can,
smart way to
because I
do
don't
it.
really care.
Yeah. 'Cause I wouldn't imagine we have a lot of crossover in our audiences.
No. Well,
It's
actually,
certainly
all the
possible.
people I talk to who listen to John Talks to Lamb listen to the podcast.
There you go. And speaking of which, welcome everybody. It
Oh,
has
snap! You hit
been
record. Well, this is awkward.
many moons, and by many moons, I think it's been 3 weeks, and not actually a moon yet, but it's close. You know, we
S-
were close to a moon.
Darn near a month. I thought there was a full moon at least once.
Well, yeah, but we're not like it's not a full cycle. Actually, I think the moon changes every 2 weeks. Isn't that right? So it could have been another moon.
Let's find out.
How many times does the moon
How long
change?
is the lunar cycle?
I want to say it's 2 weeks.
Oh no, it's 29.5 days on average.
Oh, so like a
So we only
month.
went through like half a cycle.
Yeah, there we go. So it hasn't even been a moon. I was facetious. I was feli-
You're something all right.
I was something. Well, welcome everybody.
Felipe.
Glad to have you all here. Yeah, okay. I would just want to preface all of this by saying that I drank quite heavily. Wow,
Oh, you
wow.
sure you sure you drank heavily
I
last night?
drank quite heavily last night. So I'm still recovering.
He's a little throttled,
I'm
a
a
little
little bit, I'm
tipsy.
still a little bit sauced. I'm
Oh
not gonna
wow.
lie. I stopped drinking like 14 hours ago. And I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just getting too old. I might be getting
Yeah,
too old to drink.
you were getting up there.
I mean, it wasn't like I didn't like, I've drunk heavier than when we did yesterday,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I just don't. Okay, I enjoy a party. Okay, parties are fun. What I don't
Yeah.
enjoy is the aftermath of the party.
Just take care of yourself better.
How? What do you want me to do? Huh?
I don't
Drink
know.
more water? Man, I was chugging water. I think I have a 32 ounce and what is this? 24 ounce. So combine those two together, and I've drunk about half of that because I haven't finished them yet. I'm still chugging them.
So you said you said 2 32 ounces, and you only
A
drink half of
32,
it?
a 32 ounce and a 24 ounce. So a 50,
That's too much math.
56,
50? 60?
56 divided by 2
20. Oh
is
shit, you're right, yeah.
29-ish,
So not even the
28.
full 32. Mm.
No, I have not had a full 32. Well, I did have to take a break because I had to go to sleep at some point. But for some reason, I
I
mean,
mean, you didn't
not
have
even,
to.
well, I guess that's true. Not even because of the fault of the alcohol, but I have had some of the worst sleep of my life in the past, basically, the week.
Mhm.
I think it's because I've taken on more responsibility. I'm cat sitting for my neighbors,
Oh.
and yeah, you wouldn't think that's like weighing on me heavily,
I don't
but
know.
that's
I
the only
feel
thing
like
that's
that's a lot of
changed.
responsibility.
That's the only thing that's changed. That's the only thing it could be. It's
Mhm.
like my sleep schedule is totally out of whack. I slept like 3 hours last night for no reason. I was exhausted. Like 2 nights ago,
I mean, you
I
said you were partying, so, like, I think there was a
I mean,
reason.
yeah, I guess that's true. But like basically every single night this week, I've gone, oh my god, I'm so exhausted. And then I'm like, okay, I'm actually getting to bed on a good time. Like midnight, I try and go to bed. Like I try and cut myself off at midnight or earlier if I can.
Well, you're
But
better than me.
well, it almost never works. I'll tell you that. That's the goal. I have a goal set because if you don't have a goal set, you're not gonna ever hit your goal. So as long as
Do
I
you
have
do
that
you
goal,
do you listen to white noise before you go to bed?
no, not usually.
Maybe
Sometimes
you
I'll listen
should.
to
I mean,
stuff
cause
like
hear
like
me out.
music.
Hear me out.
Hmm.
You're laying in bed, you're trying to sleep, but you just can't hit that threshold of being unconscious. So you open up your phone and you open up your white noise on YouTube, and then all you hear is "Never made it as a wise man. I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing."
That's not white noise. Oh, I
You
guess you
sure?
know what? I hear you. I hear you. I appreciate your attempt. And
At
I'm
comedy?
offended on behalf of
Oh,
everybody.
you
I'm
know
offended
what?
on behalf of
It's not a
everybody.
lamb.
Everybody, not just
It's not
white
a
people.
John talks slam if I don't offend you at least once.
Well, you know what? You hit your quota. Now it's only up from here.
Yeah. But anyways, what I usually do, so my sleep routine has been all out of whack lately just because, my sleeping conditions have not been the same for the last month.
Okay.
They're only recently coming back. For those who don't know, I work maintenance for student property,
He's a
and we had
hero.
what is called turn. And that is when we go throughout the entire property, everybody who moved out, and we flip all their apartments pretty much. And I figured since I have to Uber to work, I might just save money by just staying on property. And so I proceeded to stay in a vacant apartment for 2 weeks. It was more like a week and a half, but it felt like months, honestly.
Yeah.
Uh, and I slept on the couch. And the way that
Oh,
my sleep routine when I was there was go to work, work for about 12 hours, come home, order food, shower, get food, lay on the couch, eat food, pass out.
yeah.
And like it was foolproof because it was the same routine almost every day, and I was so exhausted that it just worked out that way. And then I'll wake up and do it all again. Now I'm only working about 8 hours, and the exhaustion doesn't hit as much as it did before. So
Your
I'll
exhaustion tolerance is like increased.
oh yeah, it's like it's not bad. But I'm still trying to recover. Not yeah, I'm still in recovery and still trying to get back to the normal sleep schedule.
Mm.
Uh, and so I'll go to work for 8 hours. I'll come home. I'll take a shower. I'll get food, and then I'm like, I don't know what to do with this extra like 8 hours of my day.
Yeah. I don't
And
know,
so,
man. I don't know. I think I'm torn between what's harder, doing 12 hours of manual labor or feeding a cat twice a day. I don't
I
know,
don't know.
man.
They seem both pretty rough, if you
At
ask me.
least I'll tell you this, at least you don't have to fight the cat because she gets pissed at me all the time for no reason.
Are you sure it's no reason? I feel like there's definitely a reason.
Look, she demands attention because she wants to be pet, so I give her some scritches, and the way she lets me know that she's done with the attention getting is
Mhm.
by getting angry, hissing, scratching, and trying to bite me. I'm terrified of this cat. This cat is stressful.
I
I have
think you're just dramatic.
I have scratch marks on my arm.
Well, sounds like a you problem, man.
Look, all I'm gonna say is I had a
Allah.
cat. I had Allah, Hasballah. All I know is that when I was a kid, I had 2 cats, okay?
Yeah.
This is deep lore. We're getting into deep lore.
Deep lore? I
Now,
see.
my cat was awesome. I really liked my cat. He was, like, a he we got it from, like, a cat lady, one of those people that has, like, 100 cats in their house.
Yeah. That
And
was my neighbor. She was that cat lady on the street.
they okay, yeah, yeah. So I got it from your neighbor, and basically what happened was I don't know if it was just the environment that he was raised in, but he was both terrified and one of the chillest cats I've ever had.
Mhm.
Because he would do stuff like, if we were like watching a movie as like a family, just I was like laying on the couch or whatever, he would just like come up and then kind of just lay between my legs and
Yeah.
go to sleep or just vibe. And my other cat didn't really do that. I mean, she would do it occasionally, but like not as much as my cat would.
Mhm.
And this cat will basically come up, demand attention, and then scratch me and run away. I
It sounds
I just don't
mhm.
understand. I guess, yeah, I've been told, "Oh, yeah, all cats are different." But for the love of God, I have an enemy. I'm not one that usually has enemies, but that cat,
That's debatable.
wha she's a villain.
She's a villain? Oh,
She
no.
is. She eats her cat food, she poops in a box, she demands attention, and then she scratches me to tell me, "Thank you for giving me all of these things. Now fuck off."
I think what it is, you 2 just have the same personality, and it's just clashing.
Well, when have I ever scratched you to let you know that I was done hanging out with you?
Not physically, but you say some mean things to me sometimes, man.
That's fair. I do have that salty, my salt builds up and then I gotta just unleash it like a
Yeah, I'm
charged
just
ability.
here doing nothing, trying to be a good friend, and you're basically like, "Yeah, you suck.
Yeah, I
You're
do
booty
that
ass."
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then to add salt to the wound after everything, I'll be crying, and you'll just be like, "Ha, got him."
Yep. Yeah, and then I like take the hanky out of your hands. I'll give
Yeah.
you a hanky, but it's like the dirty one that I found, like,
Not the
it
dirty
it's
hanky.
the one
What's
that
your
I keep
problem?
under the, like, where the wheel is on the car, the, like, rim? I
Yeah.
usually keep one right there
What the fuck?
just so that it's ready for you whenever I bully you into crying.
You're a monster.
It'd be hilarious if we were making this up off the top of our heads and didn't have any basis of this in reality.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is all nonfiction.
Yeah, it's not like we thought about this endlessly, like, how do we torture just one person really in particular?
One person at a time.
Yep.
Yes.
That's all it takes. That's really how you become famous, is just
Fa- famous?
torturing people.
Are you famous now? Is that what's going on here?
No, but this is actually a really weird segue that I didn't really think about
Uh huh.
into something that I saw. Well, yeah, it's like maybe 2 weeks ago that I saw this now. And it's kind of on behalf of, it's a really weird way that I found out about this, but the movie that I watched was a documentary. It was called The Contestant. All right. Now,
Yeah.
it's a documentary that was made a couple of years ago about this early Japanese TV show. I don't even know if
Okay.
you could call it a TV show. They basically took a dude and then he kind of like won, quote unquote, he won a little mini contest. Then they locked him in a room. They didn't lock him in a room. Sorry, they put him in a room. The door was not locked. They put him in a room and said that, like stripped him of all of his clothes and basically gave him access to a phone and a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of magazines. And they're like, all right, the premise is that you can only survive on things that you can win through magazines or, through like call ins and write in, like
Okay.
sweepstakes sort of stuff. And the guy was like, all right, the guy that ended up doing it was a comedian, or he was an aspiring comedian, I should say. And
You can relate
so,
to that.
yeah, yeah. So they basically, more or less, quote unquote, trapped this guy in a room and then made him, call into the only way he could get food was to call into these places, and then he like won some
Oh.
rice and various things. They kind of at the beginning were like, he's gonna die. We have to give him crackers, and so they would give him crackers, But then he won something, and so they cut the cracker supply off, and he went, okay, well now I guess I'm really on my own. But
Oh.
so it's really fascinating kind of look at this This was, I think, in the early 2000s. And so, I mean, Japanese game shows are already kind of known for being really out there and just pushing the
True.
border of humanity itself.
Uh-huh.
And what the crazy thing about this was, I didn't really like identify with the contestant as much. The person that I was so fascinated with
Yeah.
was the guy that he was like the director, right? The one that
Mhm.
was actually putting on the show he's this really famous, actually, let me see if I can just find his name. He was this really famous, he's still active,
Uh-huh.
guy that is working in the industry, K Toshio Tsuchiya.
Toshio Tsuchiya.
Yes, he is a, television producer that works over in Japan.
Japanese TV producer.
Yes, and so he had this idea. Really, he had a bunch of ideas, but this was one of them that was part of a variety show. So he
Is this
basically
the one, the
trapped this dude.
contestant?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Trap this dude in a room, and then, granted, the contestant could tap out at any point, but it was really odd in that, like, okay, because it
Uh,
was very akin to torture.
mhm.
Watching the events unfold. There were definitely like really uncomfortable times because they kind
Mhm.
of edited the show, right? They recorded everything like 24 hours a day, basically, and then just edited down the footage to, I think, like 8-minute segments. But they kind of removed all of the, mental illness
Fair.
to show like oh, look at that, he won a prize. Look how cool this is. And kind of he was a comedian. So the guy was doing like bits and stuff,
Yeah.
trying to his best to be entertaining in the, but then in the long
While he's
streaks of,
losing his mind?
yeah, of not winning anything, like being
Oh.
hungry 24/7. you
It
know,
just
like
sounds like my
losing
life.
body mass and all this stuff. And so they, it's like it's really fascinating to kind of look at like, you know, how people were looking at this guy who was like basically losing his mind, but
Uh-huh.
then showing only the cool parts. But the guy that I was like so fascinated by was Tsuchiya, was the guy that was the director. Because everybody, even the contestant Nasubi was like when he first met him, he was such a inspiring figure, this like super famous director, right?
Yeah. Is
And
this
so
sorry.
yeah. No,
Is
no,
this
what
like
what
was it supposed to be like a reality TV show, or was it supposed to be like a scripted movie kinda thing?
it was yeah, it was about as reality as you can get. They really did lock that dude in a room and they
Oh,
made him like call in and stuff. His goal
okay.
was he had to win $1 million, oh sorry, 1 million yen worth of prizes.
Mhm.
And then they would like release him from the room, which they, I don't want to spoil anything about it, but he does win in the end. He's still alive. He survived
You just
the
spoiled it. What
challenge.
the heck, man?
I mean, well, I would say that him winning is not the crazy part. Like, dude, I would recommend watching this show because it is just unbelievable. Really, you can kind of cut off the ending because the ending. Well, once he like wins, it's weird. It gets kind of off the rails. But like
Yeah.
the build up to like the finale is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Because like
What?
I'm saying, a lot of people kind of viewed this guy Toshio Tsuchiya as like a living god, basically.
Mhm.
He was so influential within the Japanese TV industry, I think in the like through the 80s and 90s and then into the early 2000s. And really he's still working, like I said, but he just had this like air about him that, really sold me on this like, yeah, everybody looks so highly upon this dude and he was so willing to do something unbelievable to get the moments on camera. Like,
I see.
the way that I was kind of, like, trying to rationalize why I was admiring a guy that was so clearly not a good person was
Mhm.
like, this dude I feel like it's one of those things where it's like you have to separate the art from the artist
Okay, okay.
because he was very clearly, like, he has, like, a god complex
Not a
and
god
is kind
complex.
of, pushing the boundaries of what is okay to actually put on film.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he was like, "Yeah, I'm doing this all for art. Like, this
I
is
mean, I
art."
guess
And
who's
I
gonna
was like,
stop him?
"Yeah, yeah." And I was like, "I mean, you're right. This is art. It is moving the hell out of me right now. Like, this is like an amazing piece of work that you've put together."
Mhm.
Like this weird relationship that the two of these people have, Nasubi and Tsuchiya are both like such characters and then
Uh-huh.
working together. And I was like, yeah, it's just very weird that I found myself like admiring this person for effectively torturing another human being on camera.
Yeah, you kinda have a problem, man.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, what's wrong with me that I think this is
Is
really
this like is this like just film admiration or just general admiration?
I found it really cool that he was willing to do that to another human being.
You I need you to go to therapy,
That
man.
doesn't that sound messed up? I mean,
It is messed up. What do you mean?
okay, all right. Nasubi was like one of the most heroic people I've ever met. Oh, really, not met, but like I've ever,
Mhm.
learned about. But the only reason that he was that heroic, it's like when they say like you have to have a good villain to make your hero really cool.
Yeah.
Nasubi he had a villain. He legitimately had like a real life villain that he was competing against.
Mhm.
And yeah, I was just like every interaction the two of them had, I was like, this. I feel like people like really kind of blow like Japanese culture to like this next level of like magic, really. And for the most part, I'm kind of like yeah, a lot of people have that. A lot of anybody really can have that kind of magic behind their stuff. But there was something that was about this particular one that I was like, this is crazy. I couldn't believe they got away with it.
Mhm.
They did, and I mean, nobody got, like, in trouble or anything. And oh, man,
Hey,
yeah, I don't wanna
what's
spoil the
your
ending, but
what's your
it's
last name real quick?
Hmm?
What's your last name?
Don't report me. I don't need to get reported right now.
Oh, no, I'm trying to find a therapist near you,
A therapist near
dude.
me? I'm not saying I would do that to anybody.
I don't know, I don't know. Admiration leads to very, very scary
I
things.
would say that I have expressed interest in bringing over some of the Japanese game show concepts.
Mhm.
One of which is like one of my favorite shows is effectively, I guess the best way to describe it is it's like a you laugh you lose challenge where the
Is it Silent
stakes
Library?
that's part of it. Actually, that's I think an early version of it.
Mhm.
It's the same show but different a different segment of it basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like if
Hmm.
you laugh, you get I think the first episode that they've released, at least the first one that I've seen,
Yeah.
was, they had these, like a crew of people with basically blowguns with little darts in them.
Oh,
And
did they just shoot you with the darts?
yeah, that was the first one. But
Dear
they
God.
they did that it was like a New Year's thing that they would do. Every New Year's, this, like, group of comedians would get together and record for, like, all night and then release it, like, the next day.
Was it like Impractical Jokers or
It very similar. Impractical Jokers, I think, was potentially inspired by them, I would say.
I see.
Granted, they stopped doing the blowgun thing immediately. They did it for the first episode, and then they went, "We can't do this," because they were, like, showing, Japan has kind of, like, looser nudity laws, I would say, and
They
so they
sound
were
like
like
pansies if you ask me.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, they do blur certain parts, but Americans aren't even allowed to show it at all. So
Mhm.
they were like, showing their because most of the time they were getting just shot in their butt. And so, because they had a little
Ah,
more padding there to absorb the dart. But
well, that
like,
makes sense.
yeah, like 3 or 4 blow darts in, they were like, this is painful. And they like were trying, they like knew each other well enough that they were making each other laugh. And then they were
Yeah.
just getting blowgunned. And like, yeah, by the end of it, they were basically like Swiss cheese. But I think it would be a
Oh,
hilarious thing to
Swiss
bring over
cheese when
here.
they get hit by a blunderbuss?
Well, when you get hit by about 30 darts, yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Jiminy Christmas, dude.
Yeah, they did stop doing the darts, and then they basically just went to, like, baseball bats, but they were,
Mhm.
like, padded, so they would just wham, just slap you really hard with
What
them.
the heck?
I found
See, okay, hold on. See, whenever I think of Japanese game shows, I think of the ones where they have to like do the little escape room kind of thing, or like the one specifically that I'm remembering is like they're trying to scale a wall. But the higher they get, the steeper the angle is, and if you fall, you lose. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
but the way that they have it edited is they edited out the floor, so it looks like when they fall into like a pit and like a bottomless pit.
Yeah. I tell you, they have some really good game show ideas over there that have not made the transfer to America.
Yeah,
I think it's only a matter of time. But I
probably.
also think some of the stuff that they got away with back in the day, because these episodes that I'm talking about are like
Mhm.
20 years old at this point. I think the first one I remember was like maybe 2001, somewhere around there.
Oh, yeah, that is pretty old.
So, I think they couldn't get away with it. We couldn't get away with it if we did it today. We'd have to adjust it slightly. But I think there is an audience there. I would watch it. I found
Oh, I
it
bet you
very
would.
enjoyable.
Oh, I
Yeah.
bet you absolutely would.
Okay. All right. It's not like I enjoy watching people get bludgeoned with clubs.
That's not what it sounded like to me.
That was like the premise. The part that I found absolutely hysterical, and granted, I didn't get some of the references because they were like
In
inside jokes
Japanese?
within yeah, with like Japanese culture that I was like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Or like
Mhm.
wordplay. It's like I don't understand your language well enough to appreciate this, but there were some bits that were just universal.
Yeah.
And oh my god, dude. Yeah. I'll have to force you to watch one of these episodes one of these days.
Oh my god. I need to
Because
call
it
the
really feels like something
police.
that we could get away with, you know.
Are we gonna start trying to make our own version of it?
Hey, it's been on like no god, now that I've released this information to the public, it's gonna happen quick. I feel like so all right, so I was talking about how Tsuchiya has
Uh-huh.
like a god complex.
Mhm.
I also feel like I have a god complex.
I think that's just all filmmakers.
That's very possible. Well, mine's not for like, in the fact that like, oh yes, my art is the greatest art. More in that like I feel like Okay, there's 2 ways that this idea has gone in my head. One of them
Mhm.
is I'm so ahead of the algorithm that part of the algorithm is based on me,
Dear God.
right?
Uh-huh.
Let me
No,
explain.
spit. No, cook. Let 'em cook.
I will watch a movie, right?
Yeah.
The next day, I will see that movie trending on, like, Netflix or wherever that movie has been
He really
released,
just
right?
said, I watched it before it was cool."
Well, okay, yes, it sounds weird, but I've noticed it enough times that
Mhm.
it freaks me out. Like, I was intentionally I, like, saw it happen randomly with some movie, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Like, I guess that because that's the other half of it, right? Is I'm either, like, patient 0 or one of the, like, 100 people that the algorithm is based on,
Yeah,
or I am so normie that I am just, like, in the middle of the algorithm with the rest of the world.
I see.
Those are the only 2 ways that it makes sense in my brain, or I'm just, a pattern-based creature, and I'm putting together something that I just happen to see. But I tell you,
I'm
when
leaning more towards that one.
I've option 3 of, you're reading too far into it,
Yeah.
but, I like to think that I, am a pioneer. Stuff that I
I li
watch
wish you would.
becomes popular.
Mhm.
They push the things that I watch because they go, "Well, if he likes it, surely, surely other people will like it." So they give it a little bump in the algorithm, and then suddenly everyone's watching it.
See, okay, Lord. I guess if we're going down that route, then I also can say that I fall under that umbrella as well, but it's more specifically for music. Uh,
Okay.
because there's a lot of songs that have or, like, artists that have gained popularity in recent years that I've discovered a long time not a long time ago, but long before they got, like, super big. And I used to be one of those people who would be mad and try to gatekeep a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. 'Cause I definitely was the person who would be like, "Yeah, I found the song before it was cool." Like, yeah, or I'd be like, uh, I'd be like, "Dang, now I can't listen to them anymore because 'cause they're not, what's it called? Underground, they're mainstream now. Blah, 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 blah." Um, who's a good example of that? Baby No Money. Baby No Money is a big example of that.
Okay, yeah,
Uh, cause I was listening to him before he gained his popularity or, like, got really big and, like, with what is the song? The La 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 song? Cause of TikTok.
sure. Yeah,
Um, but the songs I was listening to was before he even started, like, doing that kinda style of music, and I used to be like, "This era of him is so much better, blah, 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 blah." He's got some bangers. And the reason why I even found out who he was is because somebody used to watch on YouTube, they used to have some of his songs playing as their outro. And so it's like,
Oh,
"Oh, wow,
okay.
I like this I like this, it's a banger." And so, I discovered him that way. And now, he's all over the place. He's trending all the time. And I'm like, "Wow, I knew this
That's
before it was cool."
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I think, man, that's like a even further in advance than what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
'Cause that's less of like an algorithm thing and more of like a talent hunting,
Mm.
like star recognition?
Take your time.
Star
Yeah.
recogni star recogniz
Recognition
re
yeah.
reco recognition?
I know what
What
you're
the
trying to say. Let's
Why can't I pronounce this word?
recognition.
Recognition. Is that
There
there,
you
that
go,
sounds right. Star recognition. Yeah.
goofy. Oh, sorry.
Recog Recognition is definitely not a word.
Brokey. Sorry. Uh another example of that would be Jeremy Zucker. Back in 2017 is when I discovered him, and he was still like a low key underground, not underground, but like not as well known artist at the time. And like I was
Okay.
really vibing with his music. It was a lot of like sad boy hours kind of music.
I see.
Uh, and I also discovered some other artists through him. One of them being Chelsea Cutler, who I was obsessed with for a little bit. But anyways, and so like I was listening to his music, and it was really cool. And then TikTok happened, and then Supercuts came out. And I was like, "Dang, this is such a good song. I love this song." And then I saw it all over TikTok.
Yeah, I imagine TikTok is probably, like, trendsetter central now.
It is at this point. The only thing with that is, see, now I have a topic. TikTok is like Vine, but longer, and it produces more, um, what's the word? More trendy things, but trends and fads, but they die out a lot faster because a lot of them are like, I'm going more towards music, but a
Mm,
lot of the things are kind of like not even one hit wonders, but they're just kind of like, oh, this one was good, but you're not really giving me anything more from that. Like an
right.
example of that thing. Hopefully, she doesn't get on my ass for this. But a good example of that is Ice Spice. Which I'm
Okay.
assuming you know who Ice Spice is by now, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. She came out with a good song. She came up with Munch. It was a banger. Everyone was fucking with it. You thought it was funny? Uh, and then she came out with a couple of other songs that were pretty good, but after that, it was like she's kind of just coming out with the same song, just like same music. Like nothing's really changing with it. She's not changing like her intonation with her words. She's not really given much of a flow. Like it's the same kind of beat the whole time.
Mm.
And then her more recent songs are have this weird infatuation with excrement.
Oh, okay.
For example, I think the last one that I know that she came out with. Can we? We're 30 minutes in. We can't get demonetized now.
No,
She
I think
goes,
we're
"You
alright.
think you're the shit? You're not even the fart."
Oh, boy.
And then from there, it was out, every song that she's kind of put out that got like a little bit mainstream has had something to do with like shit, low key. Uh, and so we're just
Well,
like,
yeah,
hmm. And
you
then the
got a
other thing with her
niche.
is like she can put out music, but she's not much of a performer. Based
Okay.
on what I've been told and what I've seen, like she had concerts, and you know some people do concerts and they like are performers. They have a stage presence. Like you go there and it's a great time. It's a fun time. Like it's wild. With
Sure.
her, it's not.
Okay.
Uh, with her, she's just on the stage. She's just kind of singing the song. She's just kind of grabbing on herself a little bit, and that's all you really get. But then like people who have been doing this for like years, who were like big when we were kids, like Beyonce, Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, people like that, they perform. They put on a
Yeah.
show,
There's
you know?
there's an AC/DC concert where they fire real cannons into the crowd. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Like you're going there because you're going to have an experience, you
Mm,
know?
mhm.
But with Ice Spice, you're going there because I don't know, you like her ass.
Yeah, I guess that's a good reason to buy a ticket.
Yeah. And like another one who I don't think they fell off because I fucking love them is Flyanna Boss. Um, they're the
Whoa,
ones who they got big because the trend of they were doing their song and they were the ones who would be like running around. If you remember that whole trend that happened,
maybe not.
uh, like how's like this? How does it go? That's the ones that were like, "Hello Christ, I'm about to sin again." Oh my god, I forgot the rest of the words. But anyways, they started a whole trend of, being recorded as they're running at the camera and they're recording this singing the song. And so then everybody started doing it, and because of
Oh,
that, they got super big. And then they've been putting out more songs too, but each song they put out, even though it might be kind of similar, it's a completely different vibe, you know. It's
yeah,
not
okay.
just the same thing over and over again.
Hmm.
And they got some fucking bangers. Like I'm a big fan of them. Uh
They don't seem super big.
yeah, I mean
No?
again, they got big because of that trend that they started, but since then it's kind of they have people who, it's like most artists, like they come out with a big song, then you have people who still continue listening to them, and then you have people who only listen to them for that one song, you know?
Yeah. Okay,
Uh
1.3 million, I would say that's big.
Oh, I didn't know how big they were. But, like, they've been doing a lot, like, they've been having, concerts, they've been on, like I don't know if it was the Today Show, but, like, those talk shows, they've been on those, they've been, like, performers for some of those big shows too. So, like, they're doing the shit.
Yeah, no kidding.
They've even been meeting, like, big name celebrities like Nick Cannon, uh, who we find out that one of them was pregnant a couple weeks later, and so everybody was like, "No,
Oh.
you need to stay away from him. That better not be his baby. Swear to God." Because his reputation is he gets every woman pregnant.
Ah, I see.
Yeah,
Is that is that true?
that's. Hold on, Nick Cannon. If you look up like Nick Cannon memes, it'll just be things about him and having
Oh, no.
kids.
Nick Cannon
See, like
kids.
this one.
Oh,
It
boy.
says National Geographic determined what Americans will look like in 2050, and it's beautiful. And it's just a whole bunch of different people with, or a whole bunch of people with different hairstyles, with just Nick Cannon's face photoshopped on top of
That's pretty good, yeah.
them.
Nick Cannon's family tree. Oh, it's a breakdown on Reddit.
Dear God,
How many women has he had children with?
I don't
One,
know.
2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
How many kids
6
does Nick
women,
Cannon have? He
2,
currently has 12 kids with
12 kids.
6 different women,
That's
including Mariah
impressive.
Carey, of course.
Oh,
That's
yeah, okay.
eh.
These are impressive names too.
I haven't even seen their names. Hold
The
on.
Golden Sagan. Legendary Love.
That's their actual names?
I think
Hold on, these
so.
are kinda cool.
Onyx Ice Coal.
He probably pays a lot of child support too.
Oh, I imagine so. Well, that depends on if he's divorced from all of these women.
That's that's also true.
Maybe
I think
he's
the only one he was
actively
married to
with
for
all of them.
sure was Mariah.
Hmm. Wow.
Uh,
Good to know.
ooh, Moroccan and Monroe. That's a kinda cool. Golden Sagan, Powerful Queen. Oh, she's a little baby. How do you say that one? Zion Mixolydian and Zillion Air. That's kinda
Wow.
funny. Uh, Zen, Legendary Love,
That's a expecting is
Onyx
a rough
Ice,
name.
Rise Messiah. These are beautiful Zeppelin. These are like Halo Marie. These are like these are like if you went into a name generator to find like names and name them your kids, but like they're freaking awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish I was Nick Cannon's kid now.
He's imbuing them with star power from a very early age.
Oh, absolutely. Wow, that's crazy.
Well, you know what happened to me? This was yesterday. So
Mhm.
this is a very recent event. Actually, I take that back. It started earlier this week,
Okay.
but it culminated yesterday.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
okay, I randomly got recommended this video about undiagnosed ADHD.
Uh-oh.
We're not gonna call anyone out, but I hate that the internet keeps doing this to me. So
John,
they
your For You page was built by you brick by brick.
I guess so. Well, okay, so this is what happened. All right, in this video, they described how people with undiagnosed ADHD, or really anybody with ADHD, they move in a really weird way, right?
Uh-huh.
So, okay, so when you're walking, navigating, it just in say like a semi-crowded area, right? Most people will go around the object that's blocking their path.
Mhm.
But certain people, specifically as a trait for those with ADHD, they will kind of bend their body around the object, but their head will remain where it is. So they'll kind of like swing their butt or they'll, like I guess their hips kind of out to the side and
Uh-huh.
like twist their body to move around the object and
That's
then
interesting.
continue on a straight path. And when I saw that, I immediately felt very called out because I
Do
do
you
that
do that?
all the time. They were like, "Yeah, do you ever find yourself randomly getting caught on doors, like through your belt buckle, or not belt
Oh.
buckle? What do you call those things? Like you put the belt through a loop, a belt loop, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Like you ever like randomly do that?" And I was like, "Yes, yes." I eventually when I stopped having earbuds with a cord, I couldn't have a cord because my cord would get caught on everything.
Oh my gosh, wait
Whenever
a
I'm just
minute.
walking around, right? Like, I would have to put it through my shirt to stop that from happening.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I would just randomly be ripping my earbuds out while I was
Oh,
walking
no.
around. But okay, right. So this is something that's basically I've done my whole life and never realized that this was like a potentially ADHD trait.
Mhm.
But when I saw that video, I immediately was like, "Oh, wow, I don't like this. I don't like that that's something I do. I need to be very more careful about the way that I walk." That was a really bad sentence of English, but I was kind of like, I was really conscious of the way that I was walking
Mhm.
for, up until today. I still am because this happened earlier this week. But what really has made this become a problem is like yesterday. So I went to a friend's birthday party yesterday, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
when I was getting ready to go, I was like, getting dressed and all this stuff. And I was like, all right, I got to go to the bathroom and, get the stuff done that's in there. And so I opened this door to, exit my room. And it kind of got like stuck as I was moving. But like, 50% of the way open. So I usually, I would open it like, let's say like 75% and then do my little slide through and then
Yeah.
shut the door behind me. Right. And, like, without opening the door fully. So I opened it about halfway, and then, like, I have this little, um, I don't know what you call it, but it's a little black thing that goes under the bottom of the door, like, prevents light from coming through and kinda, like,
Yeah,
like,
like,
noise dampens.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I have one of those, but it had, like, for some reason, when I opened the door, I opened it, I don't know, I guess too quickly or whatever happened, right? It came out from underneath the door, and that's what got stuck.
Mhm.
And usually that wouldn't be a problem because I would be able to just kind of wiggle my way around it like I've done my whole life. But
Oh,
because I
boy.
was all up in my head about the way I was moving, I like panicked and fought my own instincts.
Mhm.
And so rather than stopping and, opening the door the rest of the way, what ended up happening is I just ran straight into the door, eyeball first, basically.
Oh my gosh.
And I basically opened up the door, it got stuck, and then I bam bounced off of the door and just stood there for a second. Like
Mhm.
I this is I didn't know what to do.
Are
I
you
couldn't
alright, friend?
there was a very real moment where I went, something's wrong with me. Something is very, very wrong right now. And I was like, I think I'm gonna be showing up to this party with a black eye. Like I just got
It's me.
crossed, Like yeah, like you just smacked me right in the temple.
Jeez.
And I was like, I went to the bathroom and I was looking at myself going, "What is wrong with you? What just happened? Something is
I
you
think
gotta
your
pull yourself
mind is just,
together."
like, your mind was just in a different place.
Well, it was all because of that video. I was like, I had been thinking about it all week, going, "Why do I move the way that I move? There's no reason for this." Because like, I don't think I have ADHD. I'm pretty sure we've talked about this before. Because there's a lot of things that ADHD people do that I don't have, right? But I guess it's a certain spectrum, right?
Mm,
So maybe I'm like
yeah.
1% ADHD, and just enough of that is I move weird ways when I'm walking around things. And
Uh
so, that had been like jangling around in the back of my empty, I guess, noggin and just ran headfirst into the door and was like, I didn't understand. What's wrong with me?
There's something going on with your dome, my guy.
That's what I'm saying. And
I think
I was monitoring myself the entire night that I was at the party. Like every time I would go to the bathroom, I would like look at my eye in the mirror going, "Do I have a black eye yet?" And
Uh-huh.
thank God, never did like fully I don't even know how do you describe it. I guess it's a bruise, right? It never did
Mm,
bruise, but it went from being kind of normal colored to very red to it kind of faded like about an hour into it. And now it's still just sore. Like I can
mhm,
touch it, but it hurts. And I would really appreciate it. This is directed straight to the internet. I would appreciate it if you would stop calling me out on things that I do
mhm.
because I don't want to run into another door.
Hmm. Do you think it was, gosh, what is it? We had an episode a couple weeks ago, if not, like, a month or 2 ago, where we had talked about, what is it? Kind of like an influence or, like, influence behavior based on, like, what we've seen on the like, what was, like we see something, and because we see something, we expect that to happen, and so then it does happen.
W- Uh,
Like,
what do you mean? Like so
feels
cuz I saw that video of people moving that way.
now it's increased, like, not the odds, but, like, the likeliness of you doing said thing because now you're aware of it?
Well, I'm actively trying to do the opposite because I was like, I don't
Uh,
want this to be a trait of mine
mhm.
because I guess ADHD denial is
ADH
what I'm
denial, I
in.
see.
Maybe that's what we should do. One of these episodes, we should just take an ADHD test.
We can do it right now. Do I have
ADHD test.
A
MHHD. Oh, I don't
ADHD
even know which.
test online?
Mental Health America?
Political partners. Take our quick ADHD test. It's only 12 questions. I feel like that's not enough.
Clinical Partners? Oh, okay. I think I see that one.
I think these are going to be just very basic things.
Yeah, it looks like it. I have difficulty finishing a task. Never. I always
No,
pull through. I find it difficult to organize
I always
myself.
pull out. Oh, sorry. Organize myself for a task. So, like, sometimes, like, whenever I'm stressed, I find that I like to organize and clean things. But whenever I'm
Hmm.
not, I just kind of vibe.
Yeah, I would say that like difficult to organize myself or organize a task. It's more like once I get started, I'm good to go. It's the starting part that's really annoying. And I think that is an ADHD symptom in itself. Like the
Mhm.
procrastination before you actually get started. But
Oh,
organizing
yeah.
myself for it, maybe that's what this is saying. I'm gonna go rarely. I'll go rarely. I'll be safe about it.
You
All right,
said
question
rarely?
3. I find it
Yeah.
difficult to remember appointments. Never. I have everything in my phone. I don't have to
Well, then
remember anything.
well, then you don't have to remember it.
Yep. Yep.
So that would be very often for you.
What do you mean? No,
'Cause I think this is saying if you didn't have something to remind you.
how would I possibly know that? How would I possibly know that I find it difficult to remember appointments if I never have to remember appointments because I just write it down?
I feel like
I beat
I feel like you
ADHD.
should give yourself often, because there's been times where we both missed an episode or missed recording session because we were we were doing stuff or we forgot.
Often though? Often?
Yeah.
Okay, I will
Jonathan.
concede with sometimes. How
All
about
right.
sometimes?
Sure.
If it's
Question
in my
4.
calendar,
If a
I will
task or
remember it.
project requires a lot of thought, I will often delay in getting it started. Yeah.
If it's accurate with a lot of thought.
A lot of thought?
I mean, wholeheartedly agree in the often delay in getting it started part.
But, like, the a lot of thought, I like to think about things and, like, planning my course of action kinda stuff. Honestly, the thing that causes me to delay it more than anything isn't the thought of it, it's the actuality of doing it.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of time. Like if I'm like if I okay if I have a task that I need to do and I
Mhm,
go, well, this is gonna take me. I'm estimating like 2 hours. That means I need to kind of schedule out 2 hours to get this project done with a little
mhm.
bit of maybe padding just in case it goes long. And if it goes shorter, awesome. Then I get some free time back. But if it's going to be 2 hours, I should probably schedule 2.5 or maybe even three. Let's just be
Yeah.
safe. And that will just inevitably delay it until I have a 3 hour window at some point. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
I feel like
sometimes
I guess technically that is us using a lot of thought in
that's true.
planning.
Yeah. So maybe
So,
that's an often. Maybe that's
yeah, I'll
an
put
often thing.
often.
I find it
Question
difficult to
5.
sit still and often fidget or
Very
squirm.
often. Next. Uh,
See that because that's one of the things that I've always like. I've been aware that this is like one of the major indicators. Is it like they can never sit still?
mhm.
They, the undesirables that have ADHD can never sit still, and so that's something that I've like. It's weird because I've like noticed it about myself, where
Mm.
I am. There's a part of my body that is always moving.
Yeah. No, I absolutely
Like
same. And, like, a lot of the things that I do, let's see, like, I do, like, the what is it called? Not the foot tapping, but, like, where you're the leg bouncing,
yeah,
that's
like your
something
leg
I
is
do a
bouncing.
lot.
Yeah.
I fidget a lot with like, if I have some I almost always have something in my hands
Yeah.
that
Well, I
I'm messing with.
noticed very early on. I think, I've sort of heard about ADHD my whole life.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like weirdly noticed that whenever somebody gave me a piece of paper to hold on to, at the end of the day, whenever I had to, like, do something with that paper, it would be folded
Hmm.
into like, you know how you can't fold something, like, 7 times or 8 times or whatever it is?
Mhm.
I would basically, at the end of whatever I was supposed to be doing with this piece of paper, like, safeguarding it for later, it would be folded into the smallest possible shape and then unfolded, and in the opposite direction, it would be folded,
Mhm.
basically along the same crease lines,
Okay.
and then I would unfold it again and then refold it. Like, okay, so I would go like top to bottom, right? And then bottom to top, and then flip it, go left to right, and then right to left. And like whenever people were like, "Yeah, people with ADHD often find it difficult to sit still." I go, "I don't have any problem sitting still. I'm fine with that." And then I would look at this paper that I have in my hand and go, maybe I have ADHD.
Yeah, I
So
don't think
I think that's a very often for me.
yeah. I can't say that I had that same issue that you have of, like, with the paper. Like, if I get a piece of paper, I do everything in my power to make sure it's the way that it was given to me. Uh, but, outside factors deal with it, like wind or, just everything going on. But
Yeah,
let's
well,
see.
because I that was something that I tried to do. I would actively be like, "Stop folding this paper. You have been
Yeah.
given a perfectly clean, unfolded piece of paper. If you fold this piece of paper, you have failed." And then at the end of it, I'll be like, "The paper's folded. What happened?" And I was actively trying to keep it like pristine because I know I hate at the end of it. Okay, all right. I gotta tell this. I don't know if I've told this story before,
Oh, boy.
but one of the first times that I met my friends, oh man, I guess it was probably the first time that I met one of my friend's girlfriends, right? It was like a group dinner that we were all having,
Yeah.
and I made the unfortunate decision of partaking in a particular substance
Oh,
that I
boy.
probably shouldn't have. And well, I was like, it's fine. I've done this kind of stuff before in my life. I'll be fine. Didn't realize that I would be so unprepared for it.
Uh-huh.
And so we kind of, you know, we're eating dinner, and I was sitting there going something like I was just feeling really, really bad. Like not it wasn't a fun experience.
Mhm.
And the way that I ended up coping with it is I took my napkin and I made a rat out of my napkin. I spent a good 45 minutes while everybody's kind of
Mhm.
eating and talking. I did not say a word.
Oh, you
This
were
is
locked in.
okay. I was locked into making this rat. I was doing my absolute best. I'm not really talented at like paper mache or like origami or stuff like that.
But you were that day.
I was dialed into making this rat. And when we were all ready to leave, like they looked over at my little rat that I had, and I was like, "I'm sorry." That was all I could say was, "I don't know what happened.
Oh my
I'm not
god.
ever doing this again. I'm sorry."
Was it was it as bad as that one experience that we had when I wanted to call the police multiple
No, no,
times?
it wasn't like a panic attack. It was just
Okay.
like I was, like, overstimulated, I guess,
Oh,
and so
overstimmied.
the only way that I could stop myself from being overstimulated was to create a rat out of a dirty napkin,
Mhm.
and, yeah, I don't know, oh god, dude,
That's funny as
there
fuck.
I can't believe ugh, yeah, we should just move on, okay?
Wait, hold on. I have a story. It's not really a story. It's just
Oh,
about
yeah,
my
yeah.
my fidgeting. Yeah, I'm definitely a fidgeter. Because there will be times where I'm talking to my roommate, specifically Chanel. She's the one who notices it the most,
Okay.
and like we'll be in the kitchen, and I'll be standing like in front of the fridge or a drawer or something or a cabinet, and all of a sudden behind my back, my hands are there just opening and closing it over and over and over again until Chanel either tells me to stop or she like puts her hand on me and I realize, oh shit, sorry. Or like
Yep.
one time in particular I do remember was I was standing in her like at her doorway talking to her and she was talking to me about something and I had the door like I was holding the door behind my back. I don't know why it's always behind my back. But I was holding the door behind my back and I was just swinging it left and right because I liked the sound that it was making as it creaked. And she just looked at me with that face that like a mother gives their child, and I was like, "I'm sorry."
I've been there. Yep. Yep. I noticed, I imagine this is very similar kind of thing, but, like, I have a collection of items in my car, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, in that little, the what is it? The console, right? That little thing, it's like driver's seat, that little thingy there with the, like, the stick shift, and then
Mhm.
the passenger, like, shotgun, right?
Yeah.
I put a little fidget spinner there because I was given a fidget spinner, and I'm like, "Well, the only time I'll ever really use this thing is in the
Is on
car."
the road.
Yeah, just like sitting at a stoplight, to prevent me from getting on my phone or whatever, I'll just pull that thing out and bzzz, just like
Yeah.
just hang out with it. But I have a collection of other things there now that I also just do, you know, like I have a bottle, right? It's
Yeah?
a plastic bottle. It's a really nice bottle. It's like one of those disposable ones.
Mhm.
And I see memes all the time of like, why do guys do this? Where they take the bottle that's just an empty bottle, and then they kind of like just drum it on their hand.
Oh, I seen ones like that, but specifically for, like, their head.
Oh, where they like bounce it off of their head. Yeah, okay, that
Yeah.
one I don't really
That's me.
understand, but
I do
I
that
like the
too.
little like dung dung, I don't know. And so it just sits there, and I'm like, that's trash. I should throw that away. And then every time I see it, I pick it up and I go, dun, 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 and then I put it
Yeah.
back in the cup holder again and drive off. And I'm like, I'm not throwing this bottle away.
I don't know if this is indicative of ADHD, but I definitely was overstimulated like hella bad yesterday.
Oh,
Today's the first day, I guess this technically the second day I've had off in the last month. The first day I called out last week.
hmm,
Uh so I've been working every day nonstop until today and then that other day at this point. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. But
yeah.
I was working on an AC, or I should have been working on an AC, I should say. Excuse me. Sorry, we just woke up. Um, I should have been working on an AC, I should say. And I had put the gauges to it. I was like, I was checking out the pressures, and then I was trying to, but then I was struggling to put the gauges on. So I had sat down on the ground, and over there in that area, it's just full of little like kind of granite rocks, I think.
Okay.
And so like some of them were stabbing me, but it was fine. And so, I put them in, I was looking at the gauges, and I had some channel locks in my hand, and I looked down and there were some small pebbles. And so I was like, I wonder how hard it is to break one of these. And then I proceeded to spend about the next 20 minutes just breaking rocks with some channel locks. And like
Nice.
I spaced out, and the thing that brought me back to being like, oh shit, was I remembered I had frozen lasagna in the freezer because I was starving. Because at that point I had been working for about 6 hours and I hadn't taken a lunch yet.
So you needed to go. Your body was like, we should go thaw out that lasagna.
Yeah,
Nice.
but I wouldn't be getting home for another 2 hours, and then on my way home, oh god, this is all yesterday. I finally decided to clock out. I'm on call, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna clock out. I'm gonna go home. No, I'm not getting any calls. This should be fine. And I got picked up. We get on the highway, and I get a call,
Mm.
and I was like, fuck. So as soon as, like, literally as soon as before I even pulled up to the apartment complex, I was in a lift. I called an Uber so it would pick me up in the next like 5 minutes, and I go back to work. I deal with that. I come back. I'm like, okay, it's all good. Everything's fine. I'm gonna make this lasagna. I didn't feel like cooking it in the oven because that would take like 42 minutes. So I
Right.
put it in the microwave for like uh its recommended time for the first time, and then I threw it in the air fryer. As it was in the air fryer, I got two calls.
Oh,
And I was real sad because I was like, I just want to eat this lasagna,
he just
and
wanted
I
his
was I was very
cheese.
hangry, but I ended up eating it anyways, and so then I was having a better day.
Nice.
I don't know how we got here,
Well,
but
we're still on the ADHD run.
right,
We still
right.
got we're
Question
on question
6.
6.
I would describe myself as being on the go and feel compelled to do things as a driven by. So it's asking me. It's saying that I feel impulsive. I work on impulse. Yes.
You work on impulse?
Oh, absolutely. You don't know that?
I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
I don't know if impulse is the right, like, compelled to do things, right? I think that's the I feel like that's the, I
Um.
this is one of the things where it's like, "Oh, yeah, all of my pencils on my desk are the exact same way," which is, I think, like, an OCD thing rather than
Mm,
ADHD, but that's kind of
okay.
what I'm thinking for this question. But on the go, I don't know.
Yeah, I that's a good point.
I
That's a
don't
good
feel
point.
compelled to do things. I want to do things. Like, that's like a normal like, I'm not unmotivated and just don't do anything. I do things,
Hmm.
but I'm not
I find
compelled by
myself being
some,
just
extracurricular
being
force like a motor.
on the go. And I guess it's might instead of being more so on impulse, it's more like a motor, like you can't stop or you don't and or can't stop because you feel like you have to do the thing. Which I guess that's a sometimes for me. Like yesterday, after everything happened, I took a shower. I came back to my room and I was like, I'm gonna go through all of my clothes and throw out all the ones that are bad and don't fit. And instead, I played Roblox.
I bet
So
that's gonna be another question. Do you often put off tasks that you want to do with other things?
fair.
I think
Yeah,
I'm
I
good with
would put
sometimes as
sometimes,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Question 7. I find it hard to remain focused in group settings. I mean,
Ugh.
I'm in a group setting every day at work,
Yeah. I
but
think
like the
it's
reason why I'm not focused is because I'm exhausted,
that's
not because I
yeah.
can't focus. And
I
honestly,
would
I love group projects.
yeah, that's like I'm a big fan of the group project, but
Ooh, wait.
I find myself doing like I like okay, remember how like when we first met, right?
Yeah.
We were in a group setting,
Yeah.
but the way like we kind of got away from the group setting because we just kind of buddied up and we
Yeah.
didn't have to deal with the group, which I
You're
feel
absolutely
may be
right.
something that's like, you know, in larger groups, I don't know if it's harder to
Maybe
remain
that's why we were drawn to
focused.
each other. We're both have ADHD.
It's certainly a possibility. It's like,
See,
real recognizes real. We both went like, "Oh,
absolutely.
you are
If you know,
just
you know type beat.
yeah, unable
Uh
to function in a group setting. We should get out of here."
let's see. I found see like cuz I'm thinking about it and at my job, I think I can focus in group settings as if I'm the leader
Hmm.
or like if
Okay.
I'm organizing cuz I like things to be organized to decrease the amount of chaos I can ensue. But when everybody's got their own idea or like their own way of doing things like at my job, it
Mm.
just becomes, all right, I'm gonna let y'all do what y'all gotta do. I'm gonna do my thing that I think
Hey,
is the right way to do it.
that's fair. Yeah. This is
Especially if
like
it
a
is
like
like
a
a group project kind of thing.
yeah, this is like a 50-50 thing.
So
It's like, yeah,
I'm gonna go
group settings,
sometimes.
I think that's an accurate one for me as well. It's like group settings will work until they stop working, in which case I go off in solo.
Yeah. I'd much rather do something on my own, even if it takes longer, than to have to deal with somebody else who's making things worse.
Yeah. Ooh.
Question
This one is another
8.
solid one. My mind feels very cluttered, and it is hard for me to concentrate on one thing at a time.
I'm gonna say very often, simply because I've been fidgeting with this little like screwdriver thing this whole time, and also at one point when you were telling your story, I did in fact go on a website and start reading a manga.
How? What?
I'm just
Okay,
being. It's
you're
like no, no.
fidgeting with
Listen,
something
listen, listen, listen. Let me
I
defend myself. Let me defend myself.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
It's like the memes on TikTok where they'll be talking to you and you're like, "Hey, focus," and they pull up the Subway Surfers.
Oh,
It's
right.
easier for me to pay attention by not paying attention.
Right.
Because if I pay attention 100%, my eyes are gonna gloss over and I'm not gonna be paying attention.
Because your brain just kind of wanders off.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
I mean, that's valid. I think you're a lot worse than me in that regard, but I also think you've been brain rotted more by like social media.
No, that's also fair. I guess
I
another thing is also,
they,
like, I'll have something on the TV, like, I'll be watching something on YouTube, but I'll still be on my phone at the same time,
exactly,
or
yeah.
I'll have a game I'll be playing a game, but on my laptop, I have YouTube playing.
Yeah. See, so yours feels like this is accurate to you. I feel like my brain is like the total opposite,
Mhm.
where like it's a hyperfixate thing, where like if
Oh.
I'm doing something, that's like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm so like deep into whatever I'm doing that it's like I flow state and then it's like getting pulled out of the flow state really messes up where I was.
Okay, I can
So
see
I
that.
wouldn't say that my mind feels cluttered. And it's hard for me to concentrate on one thing at a time. It's hard for me to get distracted from my
Yeah.
concentration on something. So I
I
don't really know
can
how to
I
answer this
can
question.
I can kinda understand that. I think for me, the only times I can really remember that I've done that in the more recent times is whenever I'm writing. But, like, even then, I
Yeah.
can get distracted or, like, I can, like, be taken away from it, and then I can come back and I'll be still in that same spot. Like, with UJS, I haven't touched that in so long. Um, but, like, with that TV show that I'm writing,
Yeah.
UJS, like, I have written so much for it, right? Over these years at this point. And
Right.
then like I've changed so much too to fit, things for later, but excuse me, there would be times where I would have an idea that I wrote down somewhere, right? That's
Right.
completely like independent on what I'm currently writing about, and then I'll come back to that idea and I already have the entire thing fleshed out and I can write it out.
Oh, yeah, like your brain is working in the back of your head.
Yeah, while I'm
Yeah,
focusing on this one thing as well.
absolutely, yeah.
I think
When I
it's a
need
superpower, low key.
it is pretty awesome because I like, my brain does the exact same thing where it's like, "Yeah, I've been thinking about this," like, I came up with a plot hook for somewhere,
Yeah.
didn't really have the mental capacity to write it all out or maybe the time or whatever just to write it then, but it kind of just bubbles around in the back of my brain for a little while, and then it's like the next time I revisit that topic, I go, "Yeah, yeah, I remember how this works, and I remember what I wanted to do with it. So here
Oh,
we go. Let's
yeah.
just whip it out there." So this one, I don't know. I would maybe put rarely,
I
just
put very often for that one.
just in case I'm not understanding that.
Oh, this one is not true at all for me. Question 9. I make decisions quickly and fail to think through the consequences. That's absolutely false in every way, shape, and form for me. I do act on impulse. Like I don't act on impulse, but I'm an impulsive person. Like I like doing things spontaneously,
Okay,
but
yeah.
I think through. Ev- so for those who are into astrology, I'm a Libra, and
Oh,
the whole thing about Libra, outside of being indecisive, is because we're indecisive, or we're just indecisive because we think about all the possibilities. So
I
this is not
see.
true for me at all because I think about not every possibility, but I think about like the pros and cons of doing things. I think about like what would happen if this happened, how this would affect other people. Like I'm constantly thinking about 50 million things based on one decision.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that just sounds like regular planning, which sounds like I'm agreeing that I also do that,
Mhm.
and but I don't think I do it to that extent.
No,
Like,
yeah,
I
it's a
kind of
little excessive sometimes. I can't lie.
yeah, I would be like, pros and cons list maybe, and then make a decision from there, or just like list all my options and go, well, that one's right. I'll go with that.
Yeah,
So like, I don't, I feel like I don't make decisions quickly, and I guess I think through the consequences.
I mean,
Yeah,
heck, if you what's it called? My old boss, my former boss, he asked me if I wanted to if I wanted his car. Or he asked me if I wanted his truck, and then he asked me if I wanted his car. And for both, I was like, "That's not something I was like, I don't know." And he goes, "I need an answer like soon." And I'm like, "That's not something I can just give you an answer for right now.
right.
Like, I need time. I need a lot of time to think about it." Then he ended up giving the truck to my other coworker and then selling the car.
Ah,
Uh,
yeah. Okay,
so yeah, if that puts into any perspective.
fair enough. I think I'm gonna go rarely on this.
Okay. Question 10. I'm often irritable with a short fuse. No.
Yep. I have been told I have really good patience, so
Yeah.
I don't think this is true for me at all. I
Listen,
would say never.
whenever I am irritable, yeah, it'll happen, but not very often. And
There,
I do have a short fuse whenever I'm irritable, but I'm almost never let you see it
and it's
unless
usually solved
unless
by
I've hit that
eating.
point.
Yeah.
Huh?
You just eat some lasagna and then you're pretty much fixed.
I'm gonna shoot you. I have mood swings. Sometimes feeling quite high, other times feeling low. I definitely have mood swings, but I
Hmm.
feel like they aren't like super drastic. I guess they are drastic, but they're not just like a constant thing. I think there's like something causing the mood swings. Like yesterday,
Yeah.
how I hadn't eaten all day, I was very hangry, very irritable. Then
Right.
once I ate, I was fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say rarely for that one.
Yeah. I don't feel like I have mood swings. I mean, I'm sure that's not something that I can really identify without somebody telling me that I have mood swings.
Yeah.
But this kind of ties into me being I think, a patient person.
Yeah.
I'm
Very.
kind of just used to things not going my way.
Oh no.
That's not the right word. That's not the right word for it.
No, I got
But it's
you.
like I'm used to disappointment and I'm used to things working out for me. So I'm like, I kind of go with the
Oh,
flow. I'm a very
so
go with the flow.
you're semi pessimist, demi optimist. You're just in the middle of the road.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
I try to be like Bruce Lee has said, be like water.
Fluid. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's accurate. I guess maybe
question.
maybe
Oh,
rarely. We'll go with that just in case.
question 12. I often miss what is being said to me in conversations. Now I know what I said earlier.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
I
Mr.
am.
Subway Surfers.
Listen. I like to think I am a good listener, especially whenever I can actually lock in. And then if I have something to distract me, I still think I'm a pretty good listener. Because like you can tell me a story. Do I know everything that you said? No, but I've got like the most part of it. I got like 80. I have 80% retention. It
That
but the more
solid.
time
Yeah.
that passes, it'll quickly fade away.
That's fair. Yeah.
But that's why, see, because the other thing is, I'm an active listener. That's why whenever we have these conversations, I ask you questions for like clarity or like to help me understand what you're talking about and stuff like that.
Right. Well, that
Because
that could be something that's very like that could also be an indicator of of the
oh,
ADHD,
maybe.
where it's like you naturally don't really hear what happens in conversations, but because I also do active listening.
Mm,
So it's like, is that something that we've had to learn how to do in order to actually have conversations with people?
true. Yeah, I don't know. I never thought about it.
Who knows? I ain't a psychologist. All I am
Neither
is a
am
person
I.
taking an online ADHD test.
It's probably gonna say. It's probably just gonna say you show signs of ADHD, and that's it.
Yeah, probably.
I'll put sometimes for that one though.
Yeah, I would go maybe rarely. Sometimes I do zone out, but
Oh,
that's very, very rare.
I am not consistent with ADHD.
Yeah, me neither. Your results
I
are
got a
not consistent.
26 out of 48,
Well, you're
and
higher than me. I got an 18.
god dang, yeah, we are both low or medium probability. If we were 29 or higher, we would be high probability. Now,
All
where's the
right.
autism? No.
What? Don't you dare call me out. I'm not
We'll do that
autistic.
next time. That's what we'll do.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. There
But
we
we
go.
definitely hit over our hour now.
Yeah. Maybe we could do one of those what did you say you're a Libra?
Am I
N-
gay? Oh,
I
huh?
would never reveal my star sign.
You're a
But if
Taurus.
we do want to do a star sign
No.
reveal, I'm down for that.
I know which one you are. It's one of two. I just don't
Uh-huh.
remember which one though.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's either Taurus or oh my god, what's the other one?
A
Um
Leo?
no, Leo's August.
Oh.
You're a Taurus or an Aries. I forgot when is your birthday? Hold on.
Ah, yes. Either one of those sounds awesome. I am the god of war.
Let's see. If I remember correctly. Oh yeah, you are Taurus.
How dare you? I just said I
Uh,
would never reveal my star sign.
You also said you never reveal your birthday, but here we are.
He's wrong, by the way, on both accounts.
No.
Yep. Yep.
First of all, I fucking fact checked. I knew when your birthday was the day of your birthday because I just checked the Discord,
Oh.
and that's when they said happy birthday. And if your
Well,
brother says happy birthday on one day, then I'm inclined to believe that is your birthday.
there's a lot of misinformation out there,
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
I've had to
Oh,
work with people to help conceal, I'm a very
the king of
personal,
gaslighting
I'm a
here.
very private person.
Yeah.
I need my brothers to help me sometimes to
You've entrusted the worst person for your
really
privacy, then I guess.
sell. Yeah. I mean, if you want the true truth, I was born on New Year's Day,
Uh
January
huh.
1st,
Yeah. What year?
2000 and 2000.
Oh, you were born in the new millennia?
Yep. I was
You were
like
born on the new
literally,
millennia.
yep.
Were you born at midnight?
At midnight 01. Yep.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yep. A lot of people think I'm magic because of that.
The Gathering?
Wow. Wow. We gotta
What?
get out of here.
I play Magic.
I know you do, you nerd.
Hey, shut up. You play The Witcher. You love Lord of
What?
the
A
Rings.
lot of people
You're a
play The Witcher.
fucking
A
nerd.
lot of people watch the. Okay, all right, all right.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
getting
Don't
angry. He's
test me.
attacking me.
I'm hangry. I haven't eaten yet today.
Yeah, go get some lasagna, you
Why are you
Garfield.
attacking me for lasagna?
All
You
right,
know who loves
we're,
lasagna? Garfield.
yeah, that's what I
You know who
just
plays
said.
Garfield? Chris Pratt. You know who
I
Chris Pratt
don't
also
get
played?
what
Mario,
what
aka the best, the
the
coolest guy in the world.
grandfather of lasagna. I'm sorry. What does he have to do with anything?
Oh wow! I'm gonna find out where you live, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna send you an edible arrangement.
Of lasagna?
No, they just do fruit.
Is that a
Ooh,
euphemism?
edible arrangement sounds good.
Oh my lord. Okay, we gotta get out of here.
We gotta go.
Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope we didn't annoy you too much.
Hopefully not.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.